I was outside of a door crying out to God. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel again. God put this in my heart to share. Again, this message that I'm sharing, again, it's the name of it is What is Faith, as you can see in the title is What is Faith with being obedience. Okay, and then I'm gonna take you guys through. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 12 verse 1, right? And it says the Lord has said to Abram, leave your native country, your relative, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. Right? And then if we skip over Genesis chapter 15 verse 4, it says, then the Lord said to him, no, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own who will be your heir. Right? So God already made him a promise saying that he would, for him to leave his family to go to a land where he has never been before. Right? So he's got to move with faith. And then throughout all these blessings that he was getting, he told God, what does all these blessings mean if I don't have a son that I could pass it down to? Right? So God already, like we said, God made a promise to him, told him that he was going to give him all this land, and he fulfilled his promise. Right? It wasn't like he didn't. He fulfilled some of his promises and gave him land and gave him livestock and all that, and he was a wealthy guy. But then Abram, at the time, he was Abram, he said, I have all of this, I don't have no one to pass it down to. So that goes to say that sometimes in our lives, right, God makes promises to us to where after we get the thing that he made a promise to us for, we forget everything. It's like we forget him, we forget what he has said. Perfect example, I'll give you guys an example, as in for me, right? I was going through such a hard time. I believe I was maybe 20, I want to say 23 or 24. I was going through such a hard time. I mean, I was working full time. I was working 2 jobs and going to school full time. I wasn't making ends meet. All my bills, I couldn't pay it. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I could not pay my bills because the money was not adding up. And then again, I have no days off. I'm going to school full time and working 2 jobs. I barely get sleep as it is. I'm studying at work and going home, trying to sleep, catch up. It was just hard. I remember one day, I drove to school and I was sitting in the parking lot, right? Because I already know God said that the struggle or generation curses, it has nothing to do with me, because all that's going to stop through me. And at this point, I'm very confused, right? It's bringing back memories. I drove to school. I was sitting in the parking lot in my car. And as I was sitting there, I literally started crying. Crying, why? I was crying out of frustration that, God, you've made this promise to me and you haven't really fulfilled it yet. And I'm struggling. Why do I need to struggle this way? Right? I've changed my whole life around. I turned my life. I gave you my life. It's not like I went looking for you. You came and you washed me and changed my whole life around. And I'm doing the things that you asked me to do, but still I am struggling. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. I'm telling you guys, no lie, I was crying in the parking lot. And then fast forward, I remember reading the past. It was a Bible verse when I went home, like maybe 2 days later, it said that don't. It said something about don't be don't lust over money. At the time, I used to lust over money because I wanted to be successful so bad. I would do anything to be successful. I would do anything to have money, where money was kind of controlling me. And I remember I told God, hey, I'm going to do it your way. I'm not going to lust over money. And then my job where I was working at first, before going to my other job, I would start out at one job here, leave here, and go to the other job. I remember this lady was talking to me, and then she was telling me how she's going through a hard time, how her husband left her with a kid, and she got an eviction letter on an apartment. Her husband's not there. Her husband traveled outside the country, and she had to move in with her sister, and they were sharing this small space, and the money that she was getting paid it wasn't adding up. And then I remember going home, going through my own storm. I remember telling God, since I'm in the storm, since I am truly in the storm, I'm going to go ahead and prepare for the storm. So I put on my raincoat, I put on everything, right? Because I remember in Revelation, I forgot what verse it says. It says that he's outside the door knocking and waiting for us to open the door so he could come in and share a meal with us as he was a friend. I remember I got my raincoat, I put my hood up, literally like I'm preparing for a storm. And I went to my secret place where I would pray. I brought a chair, and then I set the chair right in front of the door, and then the other side. And I was praying, reading my Bible, crying, asking God, please open this door like you said. I'm doing everything that you asked. Open this door like you said that you are going to open it, because I want to see your power. I want to see the way that you move. I want to encounter you. I want you to show me who you really are. I prayed. I did all that. I left, and then I went to my first job where this lady was. I told her, I know it's not much, but I know you're going through a lot. Here's $20, right? I gave it to her outside because I didn't want no one seeing. As she took this $20, guys, I kid you not, she started crying. She started bawling her eyes out. She said, I don't know. You don't know how much this means to me. And in my eyes, I'm like, yo, it's $20, but, at least if I'm struggling, I want to at least make somebody else, a little happier or whatever. And she just started crying, and that got me really emotional. I was like, it's okay. There's no big deal. I gave, all right? I gave. I drive to my other job. As I'm driving to my other job, I get there. One of the supervisors says to me, I kid you not, he was like, hey man, I was talking to the boss and CEO, whatever, I think it's time for us to actually make you a manager because you're really hardworking, you're consistent. Where I was, my body literally froze. I can't make this up. I didn't know what emotions to show, but I knew that the God that I prayed to, because hours before, here I was outside of a door, crying out to God, asking him to show me who he really is. And then for him to come through for me this way, it was just too much. And then again, us as humans, it's just not me. We get blessed, but then we forget what God did for us, right? And then again, sometimes it has to do with our maturity, our spiritual maturity. Where back then, I feel like I was an infant in my spiritual maturity. I was trying, but I wasn't quite there. So through this blessing, seeing what God has done, what God did for me, and how he was able to bless me like that to where I could make money to pay my bills, I also stopped again walking. I was still walking with God, but I had one foot in and one foot out. And you can't do that. You can't do that with God because he's a jealous God. And you cannot do that. As you see in the Bible, Abram was asking God for a child, right? And God promised him a child. But what did he do? Sarah gave him her servant to sleep with. But in reality, God already made you a promise. Just hold on and hold on tight, and he's going to come through, right? But that happened, and also in all our lives. And when God comes through, we got to remain faithful. We got to remain walking in that straight line. Is again, I'm sorry, just bringing back flat like memories and stuff. It's just amazing. This is part one, and then the story goes along. Even it brings my wife into this, right? It brings her into this, because the road that I was walking, again, you got to choose. You can't have one foot in and one foot out. God doesn't work that way. And I could give you guys a part two if you guys want, which I think I will. I like sharing these kind of things to give people hope and tell you that God listens to you, and he listens to every prayer that you pray about, and he's always there. He is always there, and he's going to continue to be there, and he will never change. So don't give up on him, and he won't give up on you. All right, guys. Peace.